Hi Anjali, how are you? This is Melinda Roy. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck with the same name, Anjali. So hi Colin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi Colin, how are you? This is Melinda Roy. Yes, we can see you. How are you? Wow, you are looking so gorgeous in red. Hi,
Thank you.
friends.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Melinda.
Hi, how are you? So, how is your
I'm
day?
good. Good, good. Thank you.
So yes, Colin, before we start your presentation, I would like to give a brief introduction of yours, so later you can occupy the stage. So yes, Anjali is here. So welcome Anjali onto the stage. So Anjali, a devoted mental health trauma addiction professional for over 2 decades. I'm so sorry. So So sorry, I'm still got stuck with the same speaker, Anjali. I really apologize for that. Yes, Colin is a global multi-award-winning HR consultant or executive leadership, life and career coach with over 28 years of multi-sectoral HR leadership experience. She has vast multi-sector experience, having worked in the NGO, telecommunications, retail, media, education, and professional consulting sectors. Over her career, she rose up the career ladder, with her last corporate position being the HR director of Standard Media Group. She is now in her seventh year as an entrepreneur, executing purpose through her organization Talent Gurus at the rate 254, where she is now using her vast HR experience to assist companies and individuals unleash their true people potential. Talent Gurus at the rate 254 has developed the Ignite Youth Leadership, Ascent Self Leadership, Ascent Masterclass, and the refreshed personal coaching programs that provide youth and professionals with life skills, personal development, leadership training, mentorship, and career coaching services. Since inception with her team of coaches, she has coached over 3,500 individuals directly and over 150,000 individuals indirectly in their areas of passion and talent. She is also the curator of the leading career coaching program, the Ascent Self Leadership Program globally. Wow, that's really beautiful, beautiful introduction, Colin. Thank you so much for joining this event so you can occupy the stage. People are waiting to hear your presentation. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Melinda. I'm trying to get my presentation. I can't see my desktop. 1 minute. 1 minute. I think I'm here. So thank you very much. Melinda, you can hear me? Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
Colin, we can hear you. You can start.
Yes, I'm trying to share the my slide. Just 1 minute.
Okay. Are you trying to share your screen?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we cannot see your screen. Can you please try it again?
Can you see the presentation?
No. Can you see the upward
Okay, it's
arrow
on this
button
side.
beside mine?
Yes, that's what I'm using.
Yes.
It's taking a while to open. So thank you very much as it tries to open.
No, we cannot see
Maybe I
your
can be
screen
talking about
calling.
myself. You can't, huh? 1 minute. Let me just go back.
And also, your voice is too low, Colin.
My what?
Your voice is too low.
My sound. My sound. Okay. I've added. It's taking forever to open. It's just a plain PowerPoint. Sorry, just give me a minute.
Hi, Colin. Do you want some help from us? Do you need?
Yes, let me just leave. I come back in. Eh?
Sorry, your voice is too low. Can you please speak a little bit loud?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. We can. Colin, are you
Yes.
stuck somewhere? Do you want some help from us?
Yes, I'm trying to load my slides. It's not loading.
Yeah, you didn't share your screen, Colin. Could you please do that? Could you please check? You can see the upward arrow button there. Just click on that. You can select any file from your desktop. Just click on that. Beside mine, can you see that upward arrow button?
Okay,
Colin,
let me
can you hear
just.
me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I cannot see the screen anymore where I'm meant to share. It was there, then it was hanging. Now it's disappeared. Let me just get out and then come back in.
think Palin was unable to share her screen. I think she left the stage. Could you please wait for a few more minutes? I know um, sometimes it will trouble us, but please be patient with us. She's trying to rejoin. Give us a few minutes. She will connect back. Hi, Colin.
Hi, I'm back. Thank you. When I do the share, I don't see
Hi, Colin.
my. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm asking. I'm saying when I share my screen, I can't see my presentation. I can't see it when I share.
Yeah, you can start the presentation. Yeah. Hi, Colin. I will give you a step by step. So
Yes, I'm asking you
yeah, can you please check
when I hit the arrow, it takes me to share screen and select
yes.
PDF file. I do share screen, isn't it?
Yeah, you are
So
right.
when I do the share screen, I don't see my computer at all.
When you click on upward arrow, you can see the entire screen, right?
Yeah,
Okay, you can select the PDF from there, where it is located in your desktop. Just click on that PDF, PowerPoint
it's not showing.
presentation.
It's actually not showing it.
No, when you click on upward button, you can see two options, right? Select file and select PDF file. You can see two options.
Yes,
Okay, just select the second
yes.
one. Select PDF. Select PDF.
Okay.
Did you click on it?
Yes, I've clicked on it. Let's see if it will open because it was not opening before.
Yes,
Okay,
we are
yeah,
able to see your
that's
screen
open.
now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You can
Okay,
start the
so thank you very
presentation.
much. Yes, so thank you very much. My name is Pauline Kiraitha. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. And as you've heard, I'm a HR practitioner, and my background is in HR. Yeah. So I'll take you through the presentation on managing with emotional intelligence, yeah, in the workspace. And I've listened to Carla's presentation. There's some similarities, yeah, in some way, but it's just basically for us to start thinking about emotional intelligence and why it's important in our leadership journey. Yeah. So how do you get to realize somebody needs some emotional intelligence? And this is something I saw in the workspace a lot when managing very smart people in the workspace, but they lack in some certain skill sets, yeah, that actually make them look inefficient, yet they are quite brilliant in their work. So I'm sure you've come across people who are very book smart, yeah, when they were in school, but eventually in life, they've managed to make a mess out of it. Sometimes you've also been able to see people who have acquired a fortune, yeah, but they are actually sad and restless, unsettled, yeah, yeah, in life, just because of the choices they made as they were making those riches. Or sometimes you've even seen a good performer, yeah, who can't actually hold down a job, yeah, and sometimes um, you can also see that the best students in class actually eventually do not become the best people in life. So these are people you see, and it could be alluding to a deficit of emotional intelligence. So I want us to discover what this is. So for the longest time, and so Carla talked about IQ. For most of our education systems, we highly relied on IQ. Yeah, we've relied heavily on IQ. A lot of us were judged on our ability to comprehend, yeah, and regurgitate what we are taught in school. Yeah, the IQ. Yeah, which is just basically your ability to comprehend concepts. Yeah, yeah, but we've discovered that that's not the only intelligence that's appropriate, and that's not the only intelligence that's necessary to succeed in life. So there's the new intelligence, which is emotional intelligence, which for me I found is there was a missing piece. You might be very bright, but if you lack this, then it becomes hard for you to maneuver life. And it's just basically it's a quality that enables us to confront with patience, insight, and imagination the many problems we face, yeah, in our affective relationships with others, ourselves, and with other people. Yeah, so it's just basically being more in tune, yeah, with our own relationships and with other people, and even as we relate with others. So it's about sensitivity of our own moods and of those of others. Yeah. So sometimes you might see somebody who has an outburst, but actually that's not the issue. Actually, it's a plea for help. Yeah, you might actually find somebody who's ranting, and maybe it could be just hunger. And then sometimes you could find people who have a forced joy, and sometimes actually they're just disguising sorrow. Yeah. So there's also another intelligence that's related to emotional intelligence, and we call it the social quotient. And the social quotient is just basically your ability to network with friends and maintain relationships over a long period of time. So you find there are many people who, yes, you might be very brilliant, but are you able to maintain relationships? Because life is about relationships. Life is about your connecting with others, and studies have shown that people who have come off, who have come up and come up with high emotional intelligence and high social quotient tend to go much further in life than people who are just very good in IQ. Yeah, so even your ability to relate well with others is a key factor, yeah, that determines our emotional intelligence, but also our ability to lead in the workspace. Yeah, yeah, and then I think the other quotient I want us to talk about before I get into emotional intelligence is adaptability quotient, and which is also related with social quotient as well as emotional intelligence. But adaptability quotient is how well you're able to manage yourself, especially in stressful times. Yeah, and we saw this especially during COVID. Yeah, people's ability to weather tough situations. Yeah, and even now with the tough economic times across the world, yeah, are you still being able to look out for opportunities and still be able to make the best out of it? So that ability to remain resilient, yeah, yeah, and keep at it. So we find people who have a high EQ, that's emotional intelligence, a high social quotient, and a high adaptability quotient tend to move further in their lives, yeah, as opposed to people who just focus on their uh, IQ. So how do we build emotional intelligence? So as Carla said, and I saw she had a similar slide, yeah. So with every emotion that we come across, yeah, when you hear people saying I am feeling guilty or I'm feeling bored, yeah, there are six core underlying emotions. Yeah, so when people are using all these other descriptors, it's important to know that we have some core emotions, and it's important for us to know what we are actually feeling so that we can know what is triggering these emotions. Yeah, and the other thing I want us to also be clear about is what intelligence is. Yeah, so it's just that ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. Yeah, so if we are to look at now what emotional intelligence l- really is, it's your ability to perceive, to understand, to express, to reason with, and manage your own emotions as well as the emotions of other people. So that ability to intelligently use emotions to make decisions, yeah, to be able to relate better with people, Yeah, that will make you a better leader. Yeah, emotional intelligence is not an inborn talent. That's the beauty about emotional intelligence, that it can actually be learned, and it's as a result of your own education. And so the more self-work you do on yourself, yeah, the more emotionally intelligent you become. Yeah, and so this is just basically education on how we interpret ourselves. Yeah, where emotions, we get to understand where these emotions coming from. Yeah, we get to dig deeper in our own childhoods. Yeah, and how it has influenced who we are right now. And then the other key thing is to how to best navigate our fears and our wishes. Yeah, so emotional intelligence should start when we are young, yeah, to become more in tune with our emotions so that we can be able to name them, call them out, and even know our triggers and understand ourselves better so as to avoid becoming these people, grown ups, people who are unchained and controlled emotional adults. Yeah, so I'm sure you've come across people who have tantrums sometimes. Yeah, and they're wondering what triggered it. It's because they have not gotten in tune with themselves to know what are their key triggers. So emotional intelligence measures one's, yeah, your ability to be at peace with other people, to keep time, yeah, be responsible, being honest. How do you respect other people's boundaries? Being humble, being genuine, and also being considerate. Yeah, so all those will tell us what emotion tells us if you're emotionally aware or not. So there are six key parameters, yeah, to know and to work on your emotional intelligence. So there are six key parameters. So it's your self-awareness, yeah, your awareness of others, and your authenticity. Self-awareness is just being aware of your own behavior and how uh, you demonstrate your own strengths and your limitations, and most importantly, how it impacts on other people. Then awareness of others is just basically how you notice and acknowledge others, ensuring that others feel valued and you are able to adjust your own style to other people's. And then authenticity is just basically that you're able to say and do what you have committed to doing. And then we have emotional reasoning, which is basically your ability, yeah, to understand the feelings within yourself and those of others before you make a decision. So you actually are aware of other people's emotions, and you actually consider it before you make a decision. Self management, this is where we say you're able to actually handle your own emotions. So you're not easily triggered. You know your triggers, so you're not controlled by your triggers. Yeah, yeah. And people who are unable to manage their own emotions, and I've seen that even in the workspace. Yeah, you've seen people who have a extreme reaction to a situation. Yeah, that's when you'll find certain people will call you temperamental, because it means you're easily affected by other people's emotions, and you can be easily triggered externally. Yeah, and then the last aspect that we need to look at ourselves around emotional intelligence is inspiring performance. So it's just that basically your ability to facilitate an environment that will create an environment that will trigger higher performance. That willingness for people to want to work, to get committed, to problem solve, yeah, to recognize, and that you're able to still be able to even recognize and support other people to deliver in their work. That creating that positive environment to deliver work. Yeah. So when we look at these six competencies, and that's what I've already taken you through, yeah. So there is usually a productive state, that is when you have it, and an unproductive stage. So we always have to always ask ourselves, if we have it, gauge yourself. We have a lot of tools that can enable you to know where you are in terms of the continuum, in terms of the spectrum. So you could either have it present or not present. So, like if you're self aware, you're seen to be a present person. If you don't have it, you're seen to be disconnected. You're disconnected with your own emotions and emotions of others and how it affects them. Awareness of others, you're seen to be empathetic. Yeah. And if you don't have it, you're seen to be insensitive. if you're authentic, you're seen to be genuine. Yeah. Yeah. What you say is what you do. Yeah. There's a connection. And then when it's not there, you're seen to be untrustworthy. Emotional reasoning, this is where you're seen to be expansive. Yeah, you're able to seek opinions from other people, get to understand their emotions before you actually make decisions. So you're expansive in your thinking. And when it's not there, you're seen to be limited in terms of how you make your decisions. Yeah, because you do not consider other people's emotions. In terms of self management, you're seen to be resilient because you're able to adapt, yeah, and withstand difficult situations, yeah, and you're still able to control your emotions. And even when you're not able to control them, then you're seen to be a temperamental person. And positive influence is where you're seen now to be empowering, where you're present, you're conscious in creating that positive environment for people to deliver on their tasks while considering their emotions. And when you don't have it, you're seen to be indifferent. Yeah. So it's very important for us to remain present. So when it's applied to work, so you as a leader, if you get to apply it to your work, yeah, and this is where you're basically intelligently using your emotions, yeah, to drive results in the workspace, yeah, because I always tell people you cannot try and get results from somebody who's either troubled by something from the work from home. Yeah, so you should be able, as a leader, to be able to read your people, to know when to seek for certain results and to push for delivery. Yeah, if you're able to use the emotions well in the workspace, you'll find you're able to drive change. Yeah, you're able to execute your strategy well. You're even able to engage millennials and even people from different generational brackets, as well as you're able to even lead innovation because you're able to cater for people's fears and you're able to carry everybody with you as you're leading. And then also you're seen to be a very agile leader because you're able to consider the issues as they come up and you're able to incorporate them and move forward in a collaborative way. So this is not a nice to have, yeah, for a leader, but we need to actually strive to build our emotional intelligence. Yeah. And how is it built? The gateway to emotional intelligence is actually self-awareness. So you need to start working on yourself first before you even think of working on others. And so basically self-awareness is gathering your own, yeah, our own emotions and the impact it has on other people. So it's more of you becoming more aware of when I do this, this is what happens. When I do this, I seem to get more results from my team members. I seem to have more engagement with my team. Yeah, so where emotional intelligence is high, yeah, you'll find the workplace performance increases. There's reduced workplace stress. There's increased resilience. People are able to continue and forge forward, irrespective of how tough the conditions are, and even the staff engagement increases. So, emotional intelligence has nothing to do with your personality. It actually has everything to do with your awareness. Yeah. And that is why all of a sudden there's a lot of talk, and I was very impressed to see there are many people talking about their emotional intelligence. That's why there's a huge focus on emotional intelligence because there's there's uh, there's a huge demand right now on people who are aware, who are self-aware, and are able to work well with others. And that's why it's now been seen as a key skill. Yeah, since COVID, I think COVID brought it to the fore, but since COVID, the demand for people who are more emotionally intelligent is there. So it's not a nice to have because for leaders, it's a must to have because there's proven uh, correlation in terms of the results that it shows in businesses. Yeah. So us nurturing the ability to be aware about our emotions will make the workspace a better space. Yeah, and so you can see the statistics here. It shows the work in terms of the statistics. You can see uh, emotional intelligence has become a key critical skill in the workspace. Yeah, yeah, and so I've talked about, yeah, in terms of driving change, in terms of strategy, in terms of mental health in the workspace. If you have leaders who have emotional intelligence, that environment, your work environment improves. Yeah, there's more engagement and retention with our millennials, and we're even able to lead innovation as well as be agile in our leadership. So just basically, and it's a different kind of diagram, but I think the previous speaker alluded to it. So just to show us how it truly works, yeah, and how we can now capture how we think about our emotions, and it's just to create more awareness for you. Anytime when we have an event, when an event happens, yeah, we have two brains. We have the emotional brain and the thinking brain. So the first thing it does is that it registers through our emotional brain. So the brain can either register it as a useful uh, or a rewarding experience, or a not useful and or a threat, yeah, to you. So if it's a useful experience, yeah, we will see that it is registered as a positive experience. And then what happens when it goes to the brain? uh, what happens when it goes to the thinking brain? If it's a positive and rewarding experience, then what happens to the brain is that it becomes more lateral, it becomes more creative, it starts engaging. And so when the thinking brain starts engaging more, what happens in the workspace? You'll find uh, if the environment is positive, you'll find now your employees will engage more. They'll give you more ideas. They'll come up. They will own the problem. Yeah, the work environment even becomes more positive, and they start innovating and thinking of solutions to the problems that they encounter. So due to the emotion, you can see it will have a direct effect in terms of what is registered in our thinking brain, and it has a direct effect on our decisions, in the decisions we make, as well as also our behavior. So if it's a positive registered emotion, you will find that there's positive results in terms of the decisions we make, as well as the behavior that we portray in the workspace. And the same thing when if the emotion is negative, the emotional brain will register it as negative, and so it constricts. What happens is it narrows our thinking brain. When it gets to the thinking brain, that experience will constrict our thinking. It will uh, um, disengage. People will disengage from the situation, and that's why you'll find if you have a threatening boss or you have a threatening leader, people actually tend to disengage. And so you can even see it with their own behavior. So they disengage in terms of they are not coming to work on time, there are many excuses, they don't meet deadlines, and you find just due to the kind of emotions that they had with the encounter they've encountered you as a leader in the workspace, it will actually affect the kind of decisions they make in terms of how they will behave in the workspace, the kind of delivery you will get, the kind of engagement they will engage in their work. So our emotions actually have a direct correlation to our productivity and how we innovate in the workspace. So that's the science of emotions. So we have pleasant and unpleasant emotions, and it has a direct correlation to how we think and how we produce and how we work. Yeah. So pleasant feelings broaden and build our brains. Yeah. And unpleasant ones will actually always narrow and limit our thinking. So even with our teams, just always remember as leaders, we are either broadening or we are either narrowing those uh, those experiences. So it will always affect our decisions, our behaviors, and our performance. So there's a direct correlation. So the key thing is to always know that that correlation exists. So how you manage your team will is a direct the has a direct correlation to the output. So when you see people being when the emotion of being uncertain comes up, you find people make a lot of assumptions. When people are stressed, you find they are always reactive. When people are worried, You find they focus on the problem, yeah, they don't get solutions. And when they are fearful, they'll always be blaming others. Yeah. So the key thing is to create positive emotions. And with positive emotions, if you create purpose and you share a clear vision with your team, they will engage with one another. If they feel valued, they will care for one another. If they feel informed, yeah, where you're putting them in the know, yeah, they will always look for solutions to the problems. And when they feel empowered, yeah, and trusted, you see they will be constantly innovating. Yeah, they will expand their thinking and they will look for solutions. Yeah, so emotional intelligent people do not stop learning. Yeah, they do not neglect themselves in terms of their self growth. They don't make decisions on impulse. So always before you, anytime there's an emotion, always introduce the gap before you have a reaction. So they'll never ever just react. So there's always a think. They'll always think before they react. Yeah, and they never take things personally. They remain curious to understand what has triggered certain behaviors. They'll never avoid difficult conversations. Yeah, they'll never get involved in the workspace in gossip, and they never get stuck in negative thoughts. Yeah, and they'll never act on impulse. Yeah, so yeah, and they'll never blame others. So you take responsibility. You try and become a solution provider. Yeah, and they never forget about other people's body language. So you learn how to read other people's body language so that you can be able to deduce what they're not saying, and they are able to even choose their relationships well. Yeah. So and they'll never get involved in conflict. Yeah, they'll always try and look for solutions, and will never seek outside approval, and will never get themselves into sticky situations. So you will always find they are always conscious about uh, these key parameters of emotionally intelligent people. And so for me, well, how do you know that you're an emotionally intelligent person? You are a person who's intuitive. Yeah. You're going to ask yourself, are you intuitive? Are you liked? And do you get along with other people? Yeah. And do you have a good understanding of how people think about you? Yeah, have you tried to get that feedback from others? Do people feel seen and heard by you? Do you connect well with others? And then do you always have drama or chaos around you? Yeah, there are people who like a lot of drama around themselves. Yeah. So how do we develop it? How do we develop emotional intelligence? Ask yourself if you care. Yeah, you can also take some emotional intelligence evaluation tests. For me, that's what I did. Yeah, and it showed me the areas where I can start building myself. You can get a coach to be able to develop in those areas, and then have learning partners, people who you're walking that journey with, and then you practice emotional intelligence with every opportunity. Yeah, so there's one test that we use. It's called the Genos Leadership Assessment. Yeah, which usually you can either do it for yourself. You can have the 160 degrees evaluation on the 360. The 360 is better because it actually gives you a refined view of your own emotional intelligence. Yeah. So the building blocks of emotional intelligence are empathy, influencing, inspiring, emotional balance, self management, your ability to listen to others, to motivate others, and to dialogue. And those are all leadership attributes which we can all work towards aspiring. So I'll finish off here by saying emotional intelligence is not about you showing, yeah, it's not about showing your emotions, it's about how we intelligently use emotions. Yeah. So emotions are data. Anytime people are reacting around you, yeah, take it as data. Yeah, for you to be able to use intelligently. Is that okay? So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much for the feedback. So I've seen this one question. What is the level of students' emotional intelligence? Yeah, so as I said, emotional intelligence is related to your self awareness. Yeah, so depending on how self-aware and self-exposed they are, yeah, understanding of themselves, yeah, and how their actions affects other people, you can start building your emotional intelligence from an early age. Yeah, so I think yeah, it depends on their exposure. Any other questions or comments? They are welcome. Melinda, are you there?
Yeah, I am here calling. I'm still listening to your presentation. I know it was ended. Thank you so much. You have answered the question as well. So, and one more question from our audience. So, what is the level of students' emotional intelligence?
Yes. So that's the one I've just answered, which I have said it will be dependent on how exposed they are, yeah, to their own self-awareness, yeah. And self-awareness can be nurtured from an early age, yeah. So if you're able to relate and talk about emotions with young people so that they are able to identify their emotions from an early age, and then for them to actually also understand what triggers certain emotions, then they become more aware as they are growing up. Yeah, so it's all going to be dependent on exposure levels. Yeah, yeah. So it's all highly dependent on somebody's self awareness. Yeah. So as early as possible. So even if they are young, they can be able to still nurture their self awareness. Is that okay?
That was really fantastic, enlightening speech for today. So we are ending the event by you, Colin. Thank you so much for joining this
Thank you.
event.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
So hi everyone. This is Melinda Roy. So we have ended this event successfully. Each speaker has his own way of presentation with the thoughtful information. Thank you so much for joining this event and making this event successful. So one thing I can say is do what you love and love what you do. So on behalf of WIN Ideas Global Conferences, we would like to thank each of you for joining us today. Thank you for attending the sessions. Please remember to complete the session's poll results. For each completed poll results submitted, best speaker will be entered into a drawing, the finalists for the best speaker award. Thank you so much for making this event very successful with your wonderful presentations today. Looking forward to hear your presentation more for our future conferences, which is going live on March 8th and 9th, 2024 in Paris, France. See you soon. Bye. This is Melinda Roy signing off.